Hallo zusammen, I'm your vlog Dave, and before I'm gonna state what this video is gonna be about, I just wanna say that my windows are open. And why do I say that? Because usually that's not the case when I'm recording, but it's so freaking warm here in Germany, all over Germany I think, and I couldn't stand it otherwise, so this is how I'm gonna record. So if you hear some cars, driving along and whatnot, that might very well be the case, and now you know why. But coming to this video, this is actually something I've intended to do for quite a long time now. And now that I've seen that you guys are really into Rammstein and what a German thinks about the band and their songs and whatnot, and you really give me such awesome feedback. Thank you so very much once again. I'm still flattered and humbled, and it's really unbelievable, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for that. Anyway, I just wanted to do sort of a tag video on Rammstein and Rammstein related questions. What do I think about certain songs? Which are my favorite ones? Which are my favorite Rammstein albums? My favorite members? And those kinds of things. Okay, you might be familiar with the idea of tag videos on YouTube, which is I'm gonna answer 15 questions I've actually, collected myself. I'm gonna give my answers, and if you want to, you can also give your answers to those questions in the comments down below or in respective videos. If you know how to make videos for YouTube, feel free to do that as well. That would be great to watch, actually. I would really look forward, I would really appreciate that as well if you wanted to do that. Let's talk about Rammstein in a more general way this time. And since this channel is about the German language and culture as well, I'm gonna give my, German questions with English and German subtitles. And I'm also gonna throw in some German expressions and words in the answers, I think. We'll see about that, thanks loud car. So let's go, let's do the Rammstein Q&A. Wann und wie hast du das erste Mal von Rammstein gehört? Well, I think that was around 98, 99 with their song Engel, which sort of was, a breakthrough song by them, I'd say, in German mainstream media such as radio stations, because they got a ton of airplay for that one in particular. It was played constantly. And I don't think I actually knew that it was Rammstein because I was like 7, 8 years old at the time. But I remember the children singing along, Erst wenn die Wolken schlafen gehen, and that kind of stuff. I found that to be, I think, quite eerie and interesting, fascinating at the same time, and I really liked that song. And it has, stuck in my ear as a catchy tune, Der Ohrwurm, that is, the earworm, one of my favorite German words, by the way. Was war der erste Song, den du von Rammstein gehört hast? Wie war dein erster Eindruck? What did I actually think about this song? Of course, I was able to understand it because I'm a native German and I speak German, it's my mother tongue. And I could really relate to that song, and also the video I think I saw, I saw that on German music television, like German MTV back in the day, I guess, and I was really creeped out once again and also fascinated because that was so unusual. And you also have to keep in mind, I was really young at the time, like 7, 8 years old. 7 Jahre alt, 8 Jahre alt. I was still a Kind, das Kind. But the very first song that I actually knew was written by Rammstein and was a Rammstein tune. I think that might have been Ich will on Mutter, Mother. And Ich will would be I want or I want to. Seit wann bist du ein aktiver Rammstein-Hörer oder Rammstein-Fan? I think that might have been around 2004-ish, because that was around the time when I really started to listen to heavier music in general. And in 2003, I was 12 years old. Bands like Linkin Park with Meteora and Evanescence with Fallen, they released their albums in 2003, and that was somehow the starting point for everything that followed afterwards. And I also think that Reise Reise by Rammstein, which came out in 2004, as I've already mentioned, was another big Meilenstein, a milestone in my personal musical upbringing and my musical history, so to speak. So I really consider that not only in the context of Rammstein necessarily, but also in a more general context, musically, I consider that one a very important album for me personally, and I still love that today. Was war das erste Rammstein-Album, das du gehört bzw. gekauft hast? Who would have guessed that was actually Reise Reise? I'm actually doing quite well answering my questions before I actually ask them. I just came home from my father's birthday party and we drank a little bit, but I still wanted to make this video, so why not? Welches Rammstein-Album ist dein Lieblingsalbum und warum? I'd personally say that I had to differentiate between the older Rammstein style and the newer, the more modern and current Rammstein style, if that makes sense, which I consider more symphonic and more elaborate, more diverse, as opposed to the very old days in which they basically made upfront direct music and arrangements, first and foremost. And I think from that era, my favorite album, the one that I actually come to the most from that era would be Mutter, definitely. I'd say I prefer Sehnsucht over Herzeleid, honestly. But from that era, it's definitely Mutter, and from the more modern days, pretty much, after Mutter, that would still be Reise Reise, because honestly I think the mixture on that album, the songs, the dynamics and everything, and the instrumentation, the arrangements, the approach, the dense atmosphere in most of the songs, that is still unreached to this day. I mean, there are songs on, well, the follow-up albums to that one that also are very classy, very high-quality songs in that respect, but still, I'd go with Reise Reise. That is just a perfect album. Also sound-wise, the production is really cool on that one. Welches Rammstein-Album gefällt dir am wenigsten und warum? That, on the other side, is a very tough question to answer because there is no such Rammstein album that I really dislike as a whole. There are certain songs on certain Rammstein albums that I'm not the biggest fan of necessarily. I mean, production-wise, maybe you can also differentiate here. Production-wise, I'd say Herzeleid is my least favorite. Then again, it was their first album and they weren't that experienced with everything, I don't think so. And of course, also they didn't have the financial needs to have a really good sounding recording. The album I listen to the least often would probably be both Herzeleid and Rosenrot, which is strange to say because Rosenrot, as some of you might know, was recorded simultaneously to Reise Reise. And I think before Rosenrot was actually titled Rosenrot, which by the way means rose red, so to speak, the red of roses. That album was actually considered to be called Reise Reise 2, Reise Reise 2, the second part of that album. And then they actually renamed it after the song, which by the way is a great song, but overall I think in comparison there are a few songs that I don't really listen to all that often. And I think most of those songs can be found in the second half of the album, towards the end, with the exception of something like Zerstören, which is an awesome song. I don't really dislike songs like Te quiero puta, but those aren't songs that or Feuer und Wasser, I think one is called, if I don't remember. And that alone might tell you very well that those songs aren't my favorites among Rammstein's discography. It's not a very cohesive album in that sense. It's an okay album, but it's not a very good one, I would say. Was sind deine Top 5 Rammstein-Songs und warum? I can't pin that down to, well, just 3 or 5 or 10 songs each, because there are so many that are really, really cool. But I think among my top 5 Rammstein songs would be a song that I don't think many people would think of at first, which is Dalai Lama on Reise Reise. It's a very, well, not almost untypical Rammstein song. The lyrics are inspired by Der Erlkönig, which is a famous German story. The lyrics are awesome. Till's take on them, really, really awesome lyricism. And also the atmosphere of the song with the piano, do-do-do, do-do-do, and those kinds of things, awesome. Really, really awesome dance atmosphere in that song. Another one of my favorites, Reise Reise, the title track, which just sounds really fresh and energetic, and it really sounds like a modern type of sailor song, if that makes sense. And that is really the purpose of the song, I think, longing and, well, what we call in German Fernweh, I think. That really is what this song means to me. Another one of my favorites is Haifisch, definitely because of the, well, dancey type of rhythm and just the instrumentation, which reminds me a little bit of Depeche Mode, and also of, which might sound strange, but somehow the keyboards in that one, the synthesizer sound, reminds me of Crash Bandicoot. Just makes me think of that, which is cool on its own. I really love Sonne because of the massive sound of that, the rhythm especially, the power behind that, the pounding rhythm of the guitars and the drums, and also the music video. I mean, that is also something that I love about Rammstein in general, is their music videos. Another one of my current favorites is Radio, one of the new songs by Rammstein. I love that, although it has a more popish appeal to it, but maybe that's exactly what I like about it. The mixture of heaviness and a poppy attitude, in a way. That is a cool mixture, I think. And also the lyrics to that one. Social criticism and historic things that they talk about. I really, really dig that. And just in general, I mean, there are many, many more songs that I could mention here. Keine Lust from Reise Reise, as well as Mein Teil, because I'm really fascinated by the story of Armin Meiwes, the German cannibal, that some of you might know about. Really fascinating and unique story. So many more songs, actually. So it's really hard to pinpoint that to just 5. Welche Rammstein-Songs gefallen dir gar nicht und warum? To be honest, there aren't too many Rammstein songs I don't like particularly, because most of them still have something that I like, and I think the primary example for one of those songs would be Pussy. It's a fun song, and that might be the greatest strength of that one. It's a fun song with very, very hilarious lyrics. I mean, I love the verses. I'm not the biggest fan of the chorus. That might actually be the weakest point of the song. Compared to many other Rammstein tracks, and even older Rammstein tracks, I'd say this one is really simplistic. Usually I love lyrics and songs that are a bit layered and more complex, and that one is just a bit bland. Hast du ein Lieblingsmitglied bei Rammstein? Wenn ja, wen magst du am liebsten? Another really tough question I can't really answer, and I don't really want to answer because I don't want to take away anything from anyone in that band, from the 6 guys, because every single one of them is equally important to the overall sound of Rammstein, as everyone else is in the band. So, but I guess I love several members for slightly different reasons. For instance, Flake is someone who is very clever, thought-provoking as well. For instance, when you watch him giving interviews and talking about certain, well, historical things in the GDR, he is a really down-to-earth and really humble, but also very, very funny and intellectual guy. Of course, I don't know any member of the band in person, so I can't really say for sure. The ones who actually appear in media most often would be Richard Z. Kruspe, another really interesting person, also because of his second project Emigrate, which I also like, Till Lindemann, of course, and Flake. I think the other 3 guys are a bit under the radar, which they might also enjoy, that they aren't in the limelight all the time. What I do like about Schneider, Christoph Schneider, the drummer though, is that he is, well, or seems to be a big Tool fan actually. As you can see here, he actually attended the Tool show in Berlin a couple of days ago, And well, Rammstein have actually also crashed a Tool concert, I think in the US, that was a couple of years ago, when they played Lateralis, and then Schneider and Till came on stage and lit, well, pretty much some things on fire. And that is so cool. Hast du Rammstein bereits live gesehen? Wenn ja, wo? Und wie hat dir das Konzert gefallen? No, unfortunately not yet. I couldn't get any tickets. Well, a couple of years ago I couldn't, well, I didn't manage to, and the same was true for this current tour. By now I've actually joined the fan club, the official fan club, which might allow me to actually get tickets, well, a couple of days prior to the public. Who knows about that in the future. Was gefällt dir an einem Rammstein-Konzert am meisten? Since I haven't seen them live yet, I can't really answer that one yet. But from, well, judging from YouTube videos and concert footage, well, on DVD, Blu-ray, official footage, so to speak, I mean, the whole show they deliver is unique and really energetic, really powerful and awesome. The production level of those concerts is, I think, almost unreached. Yeah, I think that alone is really impressive. Hast du ein Lieblingsmusikvideo von Rammstein? Wenn ja, welches und warum? Another tricky question because, I mean, apart from one video I can think of, I like all of them. That is really difficult. Because they are so different, yet they are typically Rammstein. They have worked with a couple of different video directors in the past and the present. I mean, just from the production quality and the complexity, actually everything, pretty much Deutschland, that is just unique in its quality, and that goes beyond the limits or the borders of Rammstein, I'd say. When you compare that to most other music videos these days, and just in general, that is just incredible. I would really like to know what the budget for that one was. I guess that was quite expensive to make, and you can actually see that. Another one that I really like for the atmosphere and the darkness, the mystery in that video is Du riechst so gut from 1998. Why do I say that? Because there is another version of that one from 1995, but more about that in a moment. The 98 version, which really reminds me somehow, like from the vibe, from the atmosphere, the mood, really reminds me of Tim Burton movies, such as Sleepy Hollow, for instance. That is one of my favorite movies, and it just fits the song perfectly. Gibt es ein Rammstein-Musikvideo, was du nicht gut findest? Wenn ja, welches und warum? That would be Du riechst so gut from 95, which was their very first music video, and that's just weird, really weird, and doesn't do the song justice, I don't think, which is why I'm really happy about them having made, well, the 98 version, which is far superior. It's just a really strange music video. Hast du durch Tills Texte Lust bekommen, etwas Deutsch zu lernen? As you might be able to judge from this question, I intend this video to be an international video for many people from, well, many different countries all over the world. America, Japan, Russia, because I know that there are many Russian fans. I personally would be interested in learning German because of Rammstein, but of course I can't really answer that because I am German. So, Falls du noch etwas zu Rammstein zu sagen hast, lass es uns jetzt wissen. There are many more things I could actually say about Rammstein, but I think, well, the previous questions have covered a lot of interesting topics, I say. And of course, I don't really say that because I came up with the questions, but if you want to know what I think about their latest album, their self-titled 7th studio album, feel free to watch my video on that, my review, and I think in comparison that one is a bit more rock-oriented than metal-oriented. I hope that this won't have been the last Rammstein album. They surely have been a very influential and important band in my musical upbringing and my musical knowledge. and my appreciation for heavier music. I love seeing a German band. I mean, there are a couple of German bands that are really, really good and that would also really work internationally, I'd say. Also because of their original German flair and vibe. But I'm just happy for Rammstein and their success abroad as well. Again, if you want to join me in answering these questions, if you want to do that as well, you can find all questions in the video description down below, so you have only to copy paste them pretty much, and well, just go for it. If you want to share this with other Rammstein fans across social media and, well, maybe friends you know that might be into Rammstein, that might want to participate in that, maybe we can actually arrange some sort of a tech video, well, like a row of videos or a row of comments about these things, these questions, and just actually communicate and interact via Rammstein and our mutual interest in them. That would be a really cool thing because, as most of you might know by now, I'm a big music lover in general, especially rock and metal music, and I always enjoy talking about music as well. So sorry for this rather lengthy video this time around. I hope you still appreciate this and you enjoyed this, and you also think this is a pretty fun idea. And yeah, looking forward to the next Rammstein videos I'm gonna make and more Rammstein footage, music-wise, video-wise, whatnot in the future. I hope there's much more to come. Thanks for watching, by the way. Just saying, because why not? I'm your Vlog Dave. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.